Good morning, everybody. Thought today I would show up and talk about something that's been on my mind for a while. I happened to see an interview with a new author, Howard Friedman, about America, about the truth of America and the loss of American excellence, if you will. I just wanted to have this talk and throw it out to other Americans because we've been looking at the country for a while. Most of us that have lived on the planet for a while seen a lot of changes. And one of the things that I always believed was that American was exceptional in a lot of ways. That we helped other people, we had great schools, that the opportunity, if you worked hard, was there, and that you could change your life here. It was that great land of opportunity that the Statue of Liberty represents, and Ellis Island, and our history built on this dream that people came to pursue. Now you have to excuse me because until 4 years ago, right before Obama, I was just an entertainment, news watching, fluoride drinking, regular American, I guess you have to say. And I started listening to people like Alex Jones, that my husband made me listen to. And even though I didn't want my bubble, I guess it was, of America broken, and it was hard for me to listen to the truth at first, I was like, no, 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 because if you start one place, you realize that it's like as you start unwinding the ball of string, that at the end you're going to get to nothing. And I didn't want to look at a lot of the truths that were true about America. I like to think, oh, we're wonderful, we're helping everybody, we're not starting all these wars, we're not the problem. Now, over the years of being on YouTube, I get a lot of comments from people from around the world. And a lot of times, they're good comments. So, like, keep fighting for freedom. And a lot of people send things about the Second Amendment to me, too. Like, do not give up your guns. We gave up our guns. We're counting on you Americans to be strong. So there's a lot of people around the world, based on the comments I've gotten, that thoroughly believe in and want us to keep our guns as part of that. And then there's a lot of people that write, and they hate us. They are quick to say how violent we are, how we're getting our fingers in everybody's pies, and a lot of what Ron Paul was saying, like, what are we doing in everybody's backyard kind of thing. But I want to talk about what's going on right at home, besides what everyone else thinks about us. We have these great schools. That's for sure what they're coming out with. Without a doubt, America is blessed with the greatest colleges, graduate schools, and graduates. But our student loan debt is $1 trillion right now. And I guess I can sum it up for me as I sat on the plane on the way home next to this gentleman who said to me a statistic that just kind of summed it up as far as the American dream goes. And he said, do you know that most med students, doctors, don't finish paying off their medical bills until they're 53, and then statistically they die at 58? I'm like, what kind of American dream is that, right? Because it wasn't that one of those go-to professions that everyone told you to go to. I mean, I was going to be a lawyer because lawyers made money, but I also looked at the lawyers and they were all miserable and a bunch of them were scum, so I was like, okay, that's not an option. But med school is one of those things like, oh, my child's going to go to, med school. It's great. And then let's look at the statistic. I mean, that's for a doctor. So then when you start looking at the other things, for instance, 50%, it used to be you'd think, oh, you work really hard in America, and that's the place where it'll pay off more than any other countries. But they're finding that 50% of the people that are in poverty are going to remain in poverty. So that upward mobility is a thing of the past. It's just not really happening here in America anymore. And the saddest thing for me is the poverty level and how many people are hungry in America. And I guess what I want to talk about is pulling the veil off of our eyes in America and looking home to help a little more. One of the great things about America that is undeniable, despite the fact that they're saying we're the most violent country with their guns, incarcerations, and wars, we protect a lot of countries. Our military, with all the money we put into it, allows a lot of countries to live peacefully because we protect them. And so we do good things in that way. You could counter that the bad things offset the good things and comment about that. I want to have an open conversation about this, because the other thing that is upsetting to me is that when you start pulling the blindfolders off and looking at what's going on in our country, that means maybe, we have to do something about it. And here we are thinking that we're this free country and we don't have the kind of propaganda machine going on that China and North Korea does, but we do. And that's what I'm learning more than anything, is that they're keeping away the negative news from us. They don't want you to know how many fellow Americans are desperately trying to make it. I mean, we hear some statistics once in a while, mostly based on like how many people are on food stamps, like they want to be on food stamps. And of course, there's always going to be those people that take advantage of any system. But I'm really thinking that, you're not living the good life when you're on food stamps, for sure, So the fact is, there are a lot of people in America that are hurting. And the propaganda machine, I heard this ex-Marine talking about that they just passed a law that for the first time they can use propaganda against the American people, which to me, I think they've always been doing, obviously, because mainstream news is always filtering things anyway. But just to add on this note, did you know that at the Olympics, they edited out for just Americans part of the opening ceremonies showing the horrible bombing that occurred in London, and with 52 people dying right after the Olympics had been announced in London? For some reason, the America media decided that this was inappropriate for Americans, and they put in a interview with Ryan Seacrest. I mean, okay, yes, folks, take a moment to gag. I mean, no offense to Ryan Seacrest, but talk about, if you want to really make fun of America, of all countries that have had terrorist attacks and had to go through horrible things and then spent the last how many years sending troops over and fighting the terrorist, they show this terrorist act that occurred for them, and we edited out for a Ryan Seacrest interview. Why didn't they just show a little excerpt from the Kardashians while they were at it? I mean, why not just make us look like real total idiots? Anyway, folks, just wanted to start this open conversation about America, and I'm going to link the article below. But I would really love your comments about what's going on in America, how you feel, and please leave them below. Have a wonderful day, and to leave on a positive note, I grew up in an America that I was really proud of and I think was a much better place, and I plan personally on working to make that the same for my children. And I think having conversations like this, all of us being truthful about where we're at, we're a strong, strong country with big hearts and even huger spirits. So I'm sure we can set our sights on fixing anything that doesn't work. But first, we have to have open and honest conversations about them. And that's why I'm throwing this out on the table this morning. Anyway, everybody have a wonderful day. And please do leave your comments. Thank you.